Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's first video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days for today's first video. It's taking us very close now to the end of July, so we're running down the middle month of the summer of 2018. What a summer it's been so far. Very hot, very dry conditions so far this summer, and it's also going to keep things pretty warm as we go through into the final stages of July as well. Last night there was a lot of interest in the midday run of the GFS. That turned up and it was really hot run indeed. In fact, I am going to include it in the video just to show you. The charts have backed away now. GFS backed away from that extreme hot run this morning. Still looks very warm, don't get me wrong, and at times it will be hot as we go into the final week of July. But last night's midday run was very extreme, and I will show you that in a moment. Just really purely for posterity, so that we've got a record of it here on the video. It's one of the hottest runs I've seen for a very long time. So I'll get on with the week to 10 day update in a moment, but before I begin, just say a big thank you to Heatwave's latest patrons. So we have got a new patron. We're now up to 23 patrons for Heatwave. So I'm going to say a big thank you to Alan for becoming Heatwave's latest patron. So if you would like to join Alan and become a patron for Heatwave, all you have to do is come to our Patreon page. This is Heatwave's Patreon page, but I'm on right now. You sign up for a Patreon account, and then just pledge an ongoing monthly donation. It can be anything as little as $1 a month. So it's whatever you can afford, whatever you want to donate. And you'll be added to all the other patrons. And of course, as this goes along, so the number of patrons and the amounts donated overall is increasing. So a big thank you to all of the patrons for Heatwave. It really is a tremendous act of kindness that you're doing for the website for Heatwave and for myself. So big thank you to all of the patrons for Heatwave. There is also the PayPal account if you would like to make a one-off donation via your PayPal account. All you need to do is come to Heatwave's.me PayPal page, and this is it. I'm on it right now, so you just come to the Heatwave's.me PayPal page, and you can just donate whatever one-off donation you would like to give us. And a big thank you to all of the donors and the patrons for your very kind donations to Heatwave. You will get a mention in videos, you'll get a shout out, and you get a thank yous, as Alan has done in today's video. So unless you don't want one, if you would rather stay anonymous, then that's fine. Just leave a note with your donation, and we'll just say thank you to this anonymous user, something like that. So big thank you to all of the donors and patrons for Heatwave for your tremendous kindness. It is helping us to pay for the website. Right, so we're going to have a look at the centering temperature first of all. Then this is it, CT for 2018, takes us back to January. That of course, that month came out at 5.3, so was warmer than average. Then we went through a cooler phase through February and March, a couple of cold months. I mean, since April, we've generally been running around 2 degrees above average. So April, May and June come out with anomalies of nearly 2 degrees above average. Very warm. But in July, we have actually stepped up a gear. We've gone to 3 degrees above average. We currently stand provisionally at 19.4, an anomaly of 3.4 degrees above average provisional to yesterday, the 18th of July. So it has been a very hot July so far. We are on sort of the boundary of having our hottest July and hottest month on record. This is the CTs going back to 1900 from Trevor Harley's website, just to refresh your memory of what we've got to beat. So our last really hot month was 2013, July 2013. Comes out at 18.3. That was the last time the CT was in the 18s. In fact, the only time this decade that we've been in the 18s. Now, our hottest month on record is this one. It's in the year of 2006. It's July 2006, which comes out at a CET of 19.7. So we're only just a little bit under that. You'll notice we're 19.4 provisional. So we are very, very close here to having our hottest month, hottest July, and our hottest month on record. There's only a couple of other times we've been in the 19s with the CET. So if we scroll back to the year of 1995, and as I've been saying in videos lately, this summer does have a lot of similarities to 1995, certainly from its dryness point of view. So August 1995 came out with a central England temperature of 19.2. Very hot August, underneath July 2006, but for time, that was the hottest August, certainly, on record. And then the only other time we've been in the 19s with the CT is back in 1983. That one just there. That one came out, July 1983 came out at 19.5. So we're kind of like on a par with July 1983. We're a little bit above August, I should say, 1995. By the way, I think that is still the hottest August on record, August 1995. And we are just a little bit underneath our hottest July and our hottest month on record in 2006, that CET number of 19.7. But we are very, very close here. I mean, we're on a knife edge, really, between having our hottest sort of month on record, certainly from a CET perspective. It'll only take a little bit more of an increase in the temperature to pull that off, and it's not totally impossible that we might come out with a central temperature of above 20 degrees. That's never happened before, so it's going to be very close. It's going to be quite exciting, I think, through the final week to 10 days of the month to see whether we do have our hottest July and our hottest month on record and break July 2006. So this is Central England. This would be, should say, this is the 500 millibar height anomaly flow chart from the Penn State University, which is just looking at the Central England temperature. These are the 500 millibar height anomalies from the Penn State University. We've got the ECMWF here on the top, and the GFS, which I'll look at in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 75 feet, is an area in the absolute high pressure, low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Blue extrapolates to low pressure, and yellow, red and orange extrapolates high pressure. So we see that in the 7 to 10 day time frame, this is taking us towards the close of the month. We've got below average heights continuing up to the northwest of the country around Greenland and Iceland. Then the jet stream's being pushed off up to the north by this big ridge that we've got sitting here to the east and the northeast of the country. So this is still dragging in very warm, if not hot air from central and southern parts of Europe. GFS is very similar. Again, we've got that large area of above average heights. The high pressure is over and to the east northeast of the country. We've got the below average heights out to the northwest around Greenland and Iceland flow, and the jet is being pushed off in that sort of direction. And so again, we're looking at another very warm sort of period. We're dragging the air up from central southern parts of Europe, so you would expect temperatures to be way above average and still continuing quite dry as well. GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks looks like this. The red line here is a 30-year upper air temperature average. Looking at Oxford today, so it's already a little bit warmer than average, but the trend over the next few days is upwards, so it's going to be quite hot by the time you get through to the weekend. A little bit of a dip takes place there around Tuesday, but overall we're keeping those temperatures way above average, keeping temperatures very close to 30 degrees on the surface, and there are a few heat wave outlier members as well. These ones up here, they're going above 15 Celsius at 850 HPA through those final days of July. And that's proper heat wave sort of territory. Conversely, there are a few cooler ensemble members as well. These ones down here. But I think overall, you can see from the white line, which is the ensemble mean, that's taking each individual line of spaghetti and creating a mean line for each individual ensemble member. You can see that's way above the red line, it's way above average. So it looks like we continue to be very warm, at times hot, and there is the chance, no more than that, there is a chance of a heat wave through the final days of July. As well. As far as precipitation is concerned, we might get some heavy showers and thunderstorms breaking out in the southeast tomorrow. So it has been a really dry spell. Some places haven't seen any measurable rainfall through parts of the Midlands, East and Southeast England. Haven't seen any measurable rainfall since the end of May. Now we may just start to get some heavy showers and thunderstorms breaking out tomorrow. They'll be hit and miss, so not everywhere will get one, but if you do get one, you're likely to know about it. You might get over an inch of rain in a very short space of time. Once that's out of the way, it looks generally dry then over weekend and into next week. And then same old story as we've been talking about in the videos lately. We go into the extended range and the precipitation spikes are coming back. So the very end of July, at the start of August, looks like there's a possibility anyway of some rainfall, but that's in the extended range. It's not getting any closer really, so again we remain cautious about the chance of any particular notable rainfall at the end of July and into the start of August. Temperature anomalies are looking like that, coming out warmer than average for the week from the 19th to the 27th of July. All parts of Europe coming out warmer than average as well. Precipitation anomalies from the 19th to the 27th of July, they're generally coming out drier than average again for much of the UK and for Ireland. This is such a consistently dry and warm spell of weather. So that midday run of a GFS I was talking about, just wanted to include this so that we've got a record of it really for the video. So this is what it was showing. Remember, this is from last night. It generated midday yesterday. So this is Tuesday next week when it's building up this ridge from the Azores, and that ridge then pushed over into central parts of Europe by Wednesday next week, started to drag up hotter air from the south. By Thursday next week, the midday run of the GFS wanted to have that high pressure centred over Denmark and the Baltic Sea, and that's allowing up this very, very hot southerly southeasterly flow. There's the upper air temperatures for Thursday, 26th of July on the midday run of the GFS. Notice how hot it is across France, Low Countries and Germany too. Now, as we went into Friday 27th of July, we find these little areas of low pressure moving up, caused purely by the instability within the atmosphere, how hot the atmosphere is. Their heat lows being generated by the heat and humidity. There's the upper air temperatures. Again, very hot upper air temperatures with push of 15 Celsius isotherm across much of England and Wales. Temperatures are between 15 and 20 degrees at 850 HPA across southern and southeastern parts of England. That's really hot, and also the risk of thunderstorms as well. Now, this is a pretty extreme chart. This is day 10. This is Saturday the 28th of July with that high pressure over Scandinavia. And again, look at this southerly southeasterly flow that we're drawing in here. There's the upper air temperatures. They were very, very hot upper air temperatures indeed. And that continued into Sunday the 29th of July. So that weekend, 28th, 29th of July, looked like a bit of a record breaker, to be honest, from a hot perspective on yesterday's midday run of the GFS. Again, there's the upper air temperatures, very, very hot upper air temperatures pushing up out of France. And these were the surface temperatures that the model was forecasting for the afternoon of Saturday 28th of July. So widely across England and Wales it was going above 30 degrees, but in this southeastern corner, look at this, it was going for maximum temperatures of between 34 and 36 degrees Celsius. So that's kind of like mid-90s Fahrenheit. Now bear in mind you can normally add on 2 or 3 degrees from that, and so if you add on a couple of degrees from 36 you would get to 38, and so it would not be inconceivable that you'll be getting temperatures of around 100 Fahrenheit, 38 degrees Celsius there in the southeast on Saturday the 28th of July from that midday run of the GFS. And after a very hot night overnight from Saturday to Sunday, temperatures holding up, look at that, into the mid-20s Celsius, a minimum of 25 for London. We have another very hot day forecast. We had another very hot day forecast the Sunday, the 29th of July. Again, temperatures were widely being forecast across the Midlands into eastern England, but to be between 34 and 36 degrees, so again mid-90s Fahrenheit. But you can add on 2 or 3 degrees to these charts normally, and so that again is getting you close to sort of 37, 38, maybe 39 degrees, going above 100 Fahrenheit. That's one of the hottest GFS runs that I've seen for a very, very long time. Now, if you don't like the heat, you'll be pleased to know that actually the GFS backed away from that very extreme outcome this morning. So this is the latest run of the GFS. It's a 6 o'clock run from today. And we start on Sunday. This ridge is through England and Wales, bringing a lot of dry and very warm weather over the weekend. That continues into start of next week. I think we'll see temperatures into the low 30 Celsius into the early part of next week. Tuesday next week turns a little bit cooler as the weather front comes in from the northwest. That could bring a few showers, and then we go through into Wednesday, and the ridge is re-establishing itself from the Atlantic on Wednesday. That takes us to Thursday and Friday, and yes, we have got this ridge building through the UK, so it does imply next week it's going to be very warm. Temperatures are going to be above average, and it might even be hot, but we aren't taking that ridge over towards Denmark and Germany and pulling up that very extreme heat from southern Europe on this run of the GFS that we had on the midday run yesterday. So it's just classically hot and dry conditions continuing into the end of July, but it's not anywhere near as hot or alarming as that midday run of the GFS was. There's the upper air temperatures for Saturday the 28th of July. Look how much cooler they are compared to yesterday's midday GFS run. I mean, they're still very warm, so we're still talking about temperatures upper 20s to low 30s, but it's not that sort of dangerous extreme heat that yesterday's midday run of the GFS was going for. That's how things look by day 10, and to be honest, it's still looking very warm, maybe hot, possibility of a few thunderstorms in the south, otherwise quite dry. ECMWF looking like this. So again, we've got that ridge through the country on Sunday, and that continues into Monday. So very warm over the weekend and start of next week. A little bit cooler by Tuesday, especially so in the north and the west. And then we go through into the second half of next week. Again, nothing as extreme as that midday GFS run was showing. So it's staying warm. It's all gone very, very slack. Weather patterns have gone very slack, so there's probably thundery showers breaking out there within a warm and humid air mass. But it's not extreme levels of heat like we had on the midday GFS. That's how we end up with the ECM at day 10. And again, it's all looking very slack. It is warm. Let's have a look at the upper air temperatures. You'll see that they are warm, even hot, you would say, upper air temperatures, particularly so to the south. But again, not that very extreme level of heat that the midday run of the GFS was showing. Finally, the GEM looks like that. The ridge builds through the country through the weekend. It started next week, but it turns a little bit cooler from the Atlantic. We go up to day 10. It's all looking very unstable, and in fact that's more generally thundery across the country by the time we get through to day 10. No sign of the very extreme heat that we had on the midday run for GFS, but you'll notice it isn't all that far away on the GEM. It's only across the other side of the North Sea, so it is a close run thing with the GFS, whether we would pull up some really quite hot air. So what can we say? Well, that very extremely hot GFS midday run we had yesterday, that did cause a lot of excitement, a lot of interest on the weather websites and the forums and on social media. It was a very extreme run, as you've just seen, but the GFS has pulled away from it for the time being. Now, that's not to say that it won't come up, because obviously this is a hot summer and it's a dry summer. So kind of get a feedback going on the longer this goes on for, that it can almost get like an oven effect beginning to take place as the ground dries out. it becomes more and more baked, and so you need you don't need as extreme an upper air temperature to get very hot air on the surface. So it could come off, as the midday run was showing, but for the time being, the GFS has backed away from it. But it still looks very warm to hot through the rest of July. We are on a knife edge, really, between having our hottest month on record. This is certainly going to be one of the hottest months on record, even if we don't quite beat July 2006. It is certainly possible that we could beat July 2006. I wouldn't rule that out at all, but even if we don't, this is going to be one of the hottest months that we've ever recorded. And it just goes on, really, so we may get things extremely hot by the end of July. If we don't, then it's just going to stay generally very warm to hot, and still a lot of dry weather continuing, so no definitive change before the end of the month. I think we can say that with quite good confidence now. There's no sign of anything definitively changing to this weather pattern before month's end, and obviously we'll keep you updated, and we will keep looking out for the change. It will happen in the end, but at the moment, not much sign of it. Alright, so that's brought you up to date with everything that's been going on over the past few hours since yesterday evening. I think I'll look at some more festivals later on today, so come back for that if you're interested in those. Tomorrow it's January, Friday, month end look ahead as always, and we'll have another look at the weather for the next week to 10 days. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.